GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. Welcome to GWATA TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and it's exciting to be with you today. On today's episode of GWATA TV, we're going to be further exploring the Innovator Awards Luncheon. The Innovator Awards Luncheon is one of GWATA's premier events in North Central Washington. It's an event we've hosted now for 18 years to celebrate entrepreneurs, technology advancements, and those in education. We're going to dive specifically into the education piece on today's episode, where we're going to be talking to Giga Watt, one of our presenting sponsors, around their support for the Innovator Awards Luncheon, as well as their support for students and STEM curriculum in our community. We're also going to talk about the 2018 Innovator Award nominees, and we're going to take a look back at the 2017 Innovator Award winners. So let me start with there. Every year we recognize a student who's excelling in technology and has brought either STEM or a technology project to life in the classroom, going above and beyond. The 2017 recipient of the Future Technology Leader Award was Moses Lerber, and we're about to show you a quick video about Moses and his accomplishments while he was at Wenatchee High School. Since he's graduated, he's now off in college and actually just completed a summer internship in Alaska working with the National Oceanic Research Institute. So Moses is someone who's continuing to excel in science and in technology, and we're excited to show you this glimpse back into his project from 2017. Enjoy the video, and when we get back, we'll have Giga Watt on air.
So for the past, it's been over a year now, I've been growing white Nile tilapia in the high school to serve to students. At the beginning of this school year, we got to finally serve the fish, so that was a big milestone for me to finally see a year essentially of hard work come to fruition. It was such a relief because, to be honest, you know, there were a lot of days where I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, and like seeing it there wasn't as much as high a yield as I had hoped, but still being able to see, like, all right, it started and it has finished, and I like made it through a whole cycle, and I'm like still alive and mentally sane. So that was really cool to see. And then knowing that I was going to do it again, that was really powerful for me, because I think I proved to myself that not only did I do it, but I always thought I could do it again even better. I think it has made me aware that I am not always going to get what I want or do as well as I hope, but it has also shown me that despite that, I will be able to continue. So, you know, throughout, especially last year, it was just problem after problem after problem, and then being able to finish and look back and be like, wow, like I did it. I got up after each of those and was able to do it again. I think it's made me more confident in myself because I've found those limits and been able to see that and meet those challenges.
He's very diligent. He's an excellent student, very dedicated to what he does. During the summer, he's in here every weekend, every day, all day, taking care of those things, and he's just done a really nice job of moving this project forward. His strongest thing has been dedication to the project and commitment to the project, and I think he's seen the fruits of that come out. Is when you commit to something and you work hard at it and you give it your all and you put it all in, that some pretty cool things happen.
This project has really opened my eyes as far as, you know, how you can apply biology to real life. It's not just worksheets and PowerPoints and notes. You know, there's biology in this, there's chemistry in this. So I think it has given me faith that everything I'm learning has a purpose, and just reassured me that I really like working with fish and animals. So I can't tell you that it's going to point me to a certain career at this point, but it has definitely reinforced my belief that I'm really interested in the sciences.
Welcome back to GWATA TV. I'd like to introduce today's guest, George Turner from Giga Watt. Thank you for being on air with us today.
Great to be here with you.
Now, Giga Watt has been a long-standing supporter of GWATA and actually won our 2017 Entrepreneur of the Year Award, so very familiar with Innovator Awards. Before we dive into the Innovator Awards luncheon, I'd love to inform the audience a little bit more about your company. So tell us, what is Giga Watt for those who aren't familiar, and what do you do here in North Central Washington?
Well, sure. I think depending on who you ask, we're either cryptocurrency villains moving in to use all your electricity and then leave with our money, or for those a little more in the know, we're a hosting company. So we run computers that can be used to mine cryptocurrency, and indeed most of them are right now. But we don't run them for ourselves. We run them on behalf of clients from around the world who, for various reasons, find it generally better to mine with us here in Washington State than in their home locations.
Well, from GWATA's perspective, we're really excited about the new technology you've brought, the new innovation you've brought. You've definitely been a community partner. And I think one of the exciting things about Giga Watt is the jobs you've brought to the community. So
Sure.
What, a team of just a couple people 2 years ago, and now?
Yeah, I think our CEO, Dave Carlson, had a staff of maybe 4 or 5 people 2 years ago. And then when he went into partnership with our current board of directors back in the beginning of 2017, we started bringing more people on board. So that now, I think at last count, we have about 68 employees at our East Wenatchee site.
And where are you at in East Wenatchee?
So we're right up next to Pangborn. If you're
Okay.
familiar with the Coca-Cola building and some of the others up there, we're next door to them.
And so you've got your kind of corporate headquarters there, along with some of your gigapods, which
That's
is
right.
kind of the revolutionary way you're doing
Right,
the computing.
right.
But you also have other facilities in Washington State.
We do. We have a data center out in Moses Lake, and that has, of course, the central large building that we started in there, and then gigapods built out around that.
And you guys are continuing to grow, right? Still in construction. Tell me a little bit more about that.
We are. Well, we decided to take on one of Hercules' own tasks, which is getting permission from a bureaucracy to do something that's never been done before. We're in the process of constructing what will be Washington State's first privately owned electrical substation to power our operations into the future up there at Pangborn.
Okay, so continuing to develop, bring some new innovative approaches to business in the
Doing our
community. And let's talk a little bit about the team, because we recently toured the Giga Watt facility,
Sure.
and it's a really cool team culture.
It is. Well, we've got a very diverse group of people. We have Washington natives in the main. We do try to hire locally as much as possible. But we also have talent. We have an engineer from Ukraine who's on board with us now. I'm a Washington transplant myself, grew up in a military family, sort of moved all over. But we've got a diverse group of people, obviously with the main focus being on operations. So probably 40% of our employees are directly hands-on with the equipment. And then the rest of us are in various support roles for them, whether that's construction of the substation and the new gigapods going in around it, development of new business approaches. In fact, we have a couple of people on staff who are spearheading our efforts to move into new uses for the computing infrastructure that we have, bringing in jobs for 3D rendering, maybe the next Avatar movie if we're lucky, something along those lines, and into other supercomputing applications apart from blockchain mining that use the same infrastructure we've already built.
So the foundation with Giga Watt, providing services to others in the cryptocurrency, but really building that computing power for technology that's not quite here yet, or for other applications.
Right, precisely.
And with that technology, you need the workforce, as we just mentioned. So
We
I know
do.
you're really passionate about supporting community. Let's talk about why Giga Watt's chosen to support community, especially in terms of education.
Sure. Well, you and I had a chance to talk about a week and a half ago, and I mentioned kind of a commitment to locally sourcing our talent. It's a term we've heard a lot in other parts of the economy, primarily in culinary and arts and crafts arenas. But it's something we wanted to explore with regard to the talent pool for IT work, because we do have a great resource in the people and the educational facilities we have here in the Valley. And it would be a shame if we had to import our entire workforce from other parts of the state or other parts of the U.S. When we have such great people here. So when we had the opportunity to work with GWATA, sponsoring tech education, STEM education, it was a really natural move for us. It's something we're passionate about. If we can set up in a community like this for the long term, which is our goal, and support the development of local programmers, local application developers, local technicians to help work in our facilities and indeed in others, I think that only benefits us in the long term, in addition, of course, to benefiting Wenatchee here. You know, it's been a recurring problem in what have been primarily agricultural communities around the country, that young people grow up and they don't necessarily see job opportunities at home, so they leave. We hate to see that happen. So if we can help with the education to create the skill sets we need and that other employers need here in the Valley, I think it helps us keep that talent locally.
I think you brought up a really great point, which is, making sure students in North Central Washington have every opportunity available and that they see the direct connection to great family wage jobs in our community,
Absolutely.
whether that's directly with a technology company or whether that's technology inside of an existing industry. Because
Sure.
what we've seen, and some of our guests here on GWATA TV from healthcare, agriculture, they're all in need of developers and programmers and those skill sets as well. So, well, it's time for us to take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to explore more about how Giga Watt's supporting the community and one particular story of how they are bringing interns into Giga Watt, one of our Innovator Award finalists. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to GWATA TV. George here from Giga Watt and I have been talking about Giga Watt's role in our community, the development they've brought in terms of the technology you're developing, as well as community support. And one of the ways that GWATA and Giga Watt have partnered together is on the upcoming Innovator Awards Luncheon. Now, the Innovator Awards Luncheon recognizes innovators inside of business and in education. And this year, Giga Watt will be presenting our Future Technology Leader Award. It's kind of a long title, but it's an important one, Future Technology Leader. I'm excited to announce the finalists for the Future Technology Leader Award are Natalie Valdez, Brayton Brown, Titus Peterson, and Team FBI, Female Bot Intelligence. Now, George, you've had the pleasure of working with one of our Innovator Award finalists.
That's right.
Brayton Brown. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Brayton brings a fresh perspective, which I think is something we always need, especially in the technology industry. But we brought him on board because he's got some particular expertise. So he's familiar with using Raspberry Pi computers, which, as you know, it was a solution that the British Raspberry Pi Foundation came up with to solve kind of an education shortfall in the UK. They noticed they weren't producing enough qualified applicants for computer science programs at the university level, and so they created a $35, maybe less now, but a $35 computer, fully functional, to overcome the kind of the price barrier to getting into computing. So Brayton's got some expertise with that, and he's putting it to work for us by using the Raspberry Pi as a base to attach various sensor equipment. So one of the primary problems we have in computing is environmental issues, whether that's temperature, airflow, things like that, keeping the computers at the right, within the right range so that they function optimally. And Brayton's been able to come in and take his expertise using inexpensive components and his knowledge of how to put them together and optimize them to help us find solutions so that we can track where do we need more airflow, where do we need to turn off fans, is the design of our pod adequate to our needs, or do we need to begin modifying that? And of course, we don't know any of that without the proper information. Brayton's brought the skill set necessary to help us at a very low price point gather that information so that we can modify our operations based on sort of the reality on the ground.
And what's unique is that you gave an internship opportunity to a high school student to come into Giga Watt's facility, work with the team, and identify, as you mentioned, these are real world problems affecting your business, your industry, and allowed a student a chance to really attack that problem and look at innovative solutions. using relatively low tech, as you said, the Raspberry
Sure.
Pi, right? A really inexpensive solution. What has that been like for the team to have a high school student working with, your developers?
Sure. Well, I have to remind them a lot more about their language when Brayton's in.
Yes.
No, it's been interesting because, again, he does bring that outsider's perspective. It's really easy to get kind of pigeonholed with your point of view, get a little bit of tunnel vision going where you see the way the corporation does things, and that becomes the only way to do things. With Brayton coming in as an outsider, he's able to bring new ideas, new approaches. He's not, what's the word? I want to say jaded, but that's not the right word.
Right. He doesn't have the experience of working for 10 different employers and saying, oh, they don't do things this way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. He can come in and look at the problem and begin to think of solutions from that new point of view.
And also, really, I think, connects your team, what I saw, with reinforcing that cultural message that Giga Watt supports education.
Absolutely.
And lives and breathes it by bringing a student into the facility.
Well, sure. And how frustrating does it have to be for young people when they're looking for jobs? You see a job ad for effectively what he's doing. He's an environmental analyst for us. So you see a job for an environmental analyst, entry-level job, 2 to 4 years experience required. Well, how do you find that without an internship? And so it benefits Brayton as well as us. Again, we get the benefit of his fresh perspective and his skill set. He gets the benefit of some real-world work experience that can then go on his resume, whether he's applying to universities, graduate programs, or for the labor force.
You're right. It's that tangible experience in the workplace setting that also not only gives them the experience for the next job, for
Right.
the university setting, or whatever that career path is, but also the soft skills. Because
Yes.
something that we're really passionate about in supporting STEM and education is that STEM, through project-based learning, gives people a chance to work in teams
Right.
and have to learn how to handle those interpersonal issues as well.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. And that's frequently one of the toughest things to overcome. The education system that we have in place in a lot of ways promotes a very individualistic working method, and there's nothing wrong with that as far as it goes. But as you say, once you get out into the workforce, the reason we hire you is so that you can function as a part of a team and bring the entire team up. Without some degree of experience doing that, how can any employer trust that you're going to be able to do that? Why would they take the risk? After an internship like this, you build that experience. You've got, again, resume points that you can show to your prospective employer. But they can also call us for references, and we can tell them what a great job Brayton's done for us, how well he's integrated into our team.
Well, it's exciting to see Brayton in action at Giga Watt, as we recently got the chance to do, and really exciting that you're supporting students all the way through the process. Let's talk a little bit more about the other innovators. You recently had a chance to meet some of the other nominees. What are you excited about with this year's luncheon?
Well, I think it would be easier to describe what I'm not excited about, which is very little. You've got a diverse skill set represented in these innovators. So we got Team FBI, we have a robotics team. We have Titus Peterson, I believe he's the young man who's working on environmental analytics for agricultural purposes and weather tracking. We've got Natalie Valdez, who's been working with the dam and with our power generation systems here, in addition to Brayton, who's bringing his expertise with a different form of environmental analytics. It's a broad skill set that we have represented, and it's amazing to see it all come out of what is truly a relatively small community. It just goes back to that point I made earlier that we have such a tremendous amount of talent here and a diverse amount of talent. It's great to see it used.
Well, we are excited and honored that Giga Watt is presenting that Future Technology Leader Award at the luncheon. For those of you who can join us, we're going to celebrate all 4 of those nominees, one of those being the team, the robotics team, at the luncheon, and then announce the winner live. Giga Watt will be on stage to do the honors. So, George, thank you for coming on air to share a little bit more about your passion and support of education. And we're going to head to a commercial break, but when we come back, we will wrap up today's episode. I hope you enjoyed learning today about our 4 finalists for the Future Technology Leader Award. Just to recap, we want to recognize Brayton Brown, Natalie Valdez, Titus Peterson, and Team FBI, that's Team Female Bot Intelligence. All 4 of these students, and I should say 3 students and 1 student group, were really selected amongst students across North Central Washington for their advanced leadership and technology. And we will be recognizing them at GWATA over the next month and at the Innovator Awards Luncheon on September 26th. And here's the good news. You can come to the luncheon in person to meet these young technology leaders, to congratulate them and to hear more about their story. And you can also find out more information on our website. We've got the full listing of the Innovator Award nominees for 2018 online, as well as information about each of them on our Facebook page. In total, we received 33 nominations for the 2018 Innovator Awards. These nominees range from entrepreneurs to businesses excelling in technology, to STEM educators, and again, to our students. It's going to be a really fun luncheon, and we want to thank our friends at People's Bank, Stemilk Growers, Microsoft, and Giga Watt for presenting this incredible community event. Check out more online, and we'll see you next week on GWATA TV.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.